Let's see. Today I would like to take a different route to talk about the Chevy Steel Tilt Cab box truck by Neo Scale Models. These trucks were used by many companies, including A&P supermarkets. In my previous videos on the GMC 7500 Steel Tilt Cab tandem axle tractor and on the Chevy Steel Tilt Cab single axle tractor, I described the Chevy and GMC Tilt Cab trucks and the many uses the truck was put to. So, see these episodes on my channel if you missed them. The links are down in the description below. Also, please go on and hit the subscribe button and join my YouTube family. Of course, I'm going to talk about the Chevy Steel Tilt Cab box truck. But first, I thought it would be interesting and different to talk about what the truck was hauling and a little about the company it was hauling for. If you noticed the thumbnails, the company logo was on the sides of the truck. The logo represented the Great Atlantic and Pacific Tea Company, or A&P for short. As many of you know, A&P was the grocery company that was responsible for the modern supermarkets we shop in today. The A&P story began way back in 1859 when George Huntington Hartford and George Francis Gilman had a brilliant marketing plan for selling tea. The plan was so simple. Why not market tea using the mail? By using the mail to deliver tea, George and Francis could sell their tea at discount prices. Brilliant! The Great Atlantic Tea Company was born. Not totally satisfied with the sales, the pair opened their first store in New York City in 1861. Their company was renamed in 1869 the Great Atlantic and Pacific Tea Company. A&P became the poster child for innovative ideas. One of the most significant innovations that A&P contributed to the grocery business, as well as all businesses in general, was brand names and private label products. When A&P was founded, there were no branded food products, and retailers sold food commodities in bulk. In 1870, A&P became among the first to sell a branded, pre-packaged food product when they introduced their Tea Nectar brand of tea. In 1885, the name A&P was introduced on baking powder containers. Also in the 1880s, the company adopted the name 8 O'Clock for its coffee. Skipping forward to 1912, A&P opened its first cash and carry economy store. That first A&P economy store set the marketing model for the future of grocery sales in America. I found this next part of the A&P history most interesting. Did you know that the A&P company evolved into the country's largest food manufacturer? In 1915, a court decision in the, of all things, cream of wheat litigation upheld the right of a manufacturer to set retail prices. As a result of this, one single court case to keep prices down, A&P put an emphasis on private label goods or house brands. By 1962, A&P operated 67 food manufacturing plants before consolidating many of them into the 1.5 million square foot Horseheads facility, which was the largest food manufacturing plant in the world under one roof. 1925, the A&P grocery chain found themselves operating 14,000 economy stores. And by 1930, the chain had reached 15,709 economy stores. Innovation kept A&P moving forward. The company opened its first supermarket in 1937. When A&P started using this new grocery format, the modern supermarket that we shop in today was born. Today, the modern supermarket ranges from small, well-stocked stores to giant, big-box stores. A major change came in 1957 when the family lost control of the A&P company, and A&P was taken public. A&P underwent major restructuring in 1980 after the Tingelman Group, a West German retailer, gained majority control, and that began the decline of the A&P company. Moving on to 2002, retail operations were divided into two operating units, A&P US and A&P Canada. A&P had its peak number of stores in 1930 of 15,709 and dwindled down to 206 stores at liquidation in 2015. I guess nothing lasts forever. I suppose that there were many contributing factors that led A&P to decline and finally fail. Competition, management mistakes, changes in shopping habits, to name a few. But A&P had a long run, and during that run, A&P stores set a pattern for the mail-order business, established brand names and private label house-branded products, owned 67 manufacturing plants for food, and took the grocery business from the small corner store to the big box grocery store that we shop in today. Most people would say that's progress.
And this is the 1960 Chevrolet Steel Tilt Cab 80 for A&P Supermarkets. It is an actual box truck, one of the only two box trucks that they've actually made for anybody out there with Neo trucks. It's a resin cab, a resin box sitting on a die-cast frame. Comes in this hardboard sleeve that says Neo Scale Models. It has the mirror piece in the back, a hard black plastic base plate that it's screwed down to, and the clear plastic lid so that you can keep your models dust-free. These display cases are great if you like to actually display your models without taking them and putting them on a diorama. Keeps all that dust off of them. And all they are is clipped on. And they can be kind of a pain to unclip, but there we go. And I'm going to take it out because I want to show it off and let you guys really see the model. Now, they are just screwed down with two screws, and they usually use two Phillips head screws. Now, normally I'd tell you to hold it between the frame and the base plate, but this time you got to hold it between the box and the base plate because it is a box truck. And just two screws, and out they come. Screw and screw. And we can take the truck and put it there, and then set the display base plate aside. Now this guy is new. They haven't done this box truck. It was the first release of it for A&P Supermarkets. Really, really nice. You just don't see A&P anything anymore, even though they're actually still around, believe it or not. Atlantic and Pacific Supermarkets. If you're from up north, you probably know them. Otherwise, they were kind of everywhere, but they were your big supermarket back in the day, and then they just kind of dried right up. They have A&P logo there on the door, and A&P Supermarkets up there on the box. They're molded in and they're tampoed orange and red, the marker lights that are on the box. You can see the orange up front, red in the back. Rides on a very, very nice 5-spoke Dayton wheel that is red spokes and silver wheels. Has a real nice vintage tread pattern tire mounted on each one. There is a mud flap hanging down from the box behind both rear tires, and there's not one in the front. But you can see how the fender goes around it. These tilt cabs are really cool. It has a door handle right there, which is just a resin piece painted silver, just like the mirrors are resin pieces and attached. However, the 80 marking, maybe I can get it up there, right there up on the door, behind the mirror bracket, that is a photo etch piece, as is the Chevrolet right there on the back behind the door. The windows are vacuum formed on this truck. They have a black ring painted around each one, and the little bar to denote it has the wind wing in it. Plus, you can see the little backs. Now, these really weren't sleepers, but there is a little, because of the way the engine was, there's a little space behind the seats, and they put a bench across of it so that you could put some stuff on it. Store your suitcase or some other stuff like that. The interior, it has a really dark gray seats, 2 seats, one on each side with low backs, gear shift in there on the center console. It has the gray and bench behind the seats and a white steering wheel. And then the dashboard is nice and gray with lots of instruments on it. Really good job that they did on that. Around to the front, you can see those individual jewel headlights right there. There's 2 on each side, and then they have a little sealed beam pattern on them. The Chevrolet lettering right there in the center of the grille, really nice tampo. It comes with a license plate that just says Commercial XKP 19N. Don't know what state that would be. If you guys know what state that is, based on the colors of the letters and it says commercial on it, let me know. I'd like to know. It has the white grille, and the bumper is actually painted a silvery color, silvery white. It's not true white. Also, you can see it has those 2 marker lights here as individual pieces, 1 on each side. That was kind of that was a unique thing to Chevy, and it didn't actually last very long on these trucks. They changed the grille pretty quickly. It has the bow tie and the chevron right there for the Chevrolet logo, and that is a photo etched piece. It also has 2 photo etched windshield wipers on that great big window. You can see the black trim ring around the window and the black bar to make it look like it's a 2-piece window. It's just a 1-piece, but it looks that way. Here, there's also your 2 turn signals. So you can see they are actually molded into the body, and then they painted them a little bit of orange. Pretty nice the way they did that. You can also see up here A&P Supermarkets, and then it's got their little raised pieces molded into the box that are the 5 marker lights that were required back in the day on there. Then you also got your roof lights for the cab, the clearance lights. They're individual pieces painted silver with orange, little bits of orange painted on the fronts to make them look like they got lenses. And then you can also see it has the air horns, the dual bell chime mounted right over on the driver's side. Very common on smaller trucks to put it over there as opposed to having 2, 1 on each side. They just put right over there. They did rib detail for the structure that would have been on these trucks in the real life, and then the roof of the box is just painted silver, which is pretty standard. Coming over to the passenger side. Normally the passenger side looks pretty much just like the driver's side, but not on this guy. The cab, same, all the same details. But the box here, look at that. It has a nice door molded into it. Now the door doesn't open, but it's a nice vintage door. You can see the latch there, the 2 hinges, and then you can also see the step to make it easier to climb up in there. Also over here, you see our fuel tank. This guy has the 1 fuel tank only. Pretty common on these little city trucks, just 1 fuel tank. And most of the rest of it's the same. A&P Supermarkets, marker lights, them beautiful 5-spoke Daytons, and the logo on the door. Now when these doors open, there would actually be a step exposed right here so that you would be easy to climb up inside these cabs. Coming around to the back, roll-up door detail, it doesn't work. It'd be nice if it did, but it doesn't work. Not quite sure where these two lights are on the door panels. Maybe they're just plain reflectors there. But there's the brake lights that are hanging off underneath, which had been normal. You got your bumper right here and a license plate, the latch for the door, and the handle that you'd use to roll it up, A&P Supermarkets logo, and then roof, the clearance lights up top. But nice if the door doesn't roll up, but I understand this is a resin box. They just didn't do it. They're trying to keep the price down, so that it works all right. Coming around underneath, you can see the detail. 1960 Chevrolet tilt cab box truck on one side, and it doesn't say Neo on the other. They put the Neo up here. It says Neo scale models. And then because this is a cab set back axle, they just mounted the cab further forward on the frame. That way you get your set back axle, which is a simple way to do it, and use the same frame for multiple vehicles. It is a die-cast frame, and then you can see the underbody exhaust right there. Exhaust pipe, muffler, and tailpipe. And it is blowing down, which was pretty standard on box trucks back in the day. And these were gassers, so that was really normal. Rear spring suspension, and then you have your rear axle, single axle, and drive shafts from the transmission to it. And then the little bottom of the engine detail. They did a really good job on this truck. And this would be one that would be great sitting on your vintage layout, sitting at the truck stop, or sitting at like a truck show showing off vintage trucks, or it would be awesome just sitting on your shelf right there. That is the 1960 Chevrolet 80 steel tilt cab box truck, single axle box truck, city delivery for A&P Supermarkets. Resin cab, resin box on die-cast frame by Neo Scale Models.
How many of you knew how the modern supermarket was born? Let me know down in the comments below, and go on and tap that subscribe button to join my YouTube family. You can get one of these great little Chevy steel tilt cab box trucks for the A&P Supermarkets at my website, farmtoysandmore.com. or with a special offer on my other website with a link in the description below. Remember, these were made in very limited numbers, and once they sell out, the links are gone forever. Thanks for watching, everyone. I'm Logan, the 64th Gear Jammer Skeele, the founder of Advantage Diecast, and I'll be back soon with another episode of Toy Talk.